Hi, welcome to the Gemara on Dalet Amud Aleph, going into Dalet Amud Bet. We're starting from the two dots near the bottom of the Amud. This is the Gemara introducing a new piece of our Mishnah for discussion. Ela shehakfarim makdimin liyom haknisa. Rather, the kfarim, the villages, are allowed to move their Megillah reading early to the Yom HaKnisa, to the day of gathering. Amar Rabbi Chanina said, Chachamim hekelu al hakfarim lihiyot makdimin liyom haknisa kidei shizbeku mayim umazon lachehem shebekrachim. The rabbis were lenient on the villages and allowed them to move their reading earlier to the day of gathering so that they would be able to provide water and food for their brothers in the krachim. This is a quote from something that we've seen before. And your first question is, where have we seen this before? Why does this look familiar? I want you to note where the quote is, what Amud it's on, and also remind yourself, write down in what context this is introduced. Is it a question? Is it an answer? What is it responding to? How is it used? Why is it brought in previously in the Gemara? So that's the statement. That's the comment on this that the Gemara brings in response to the Mishnah. Lememra titakante dekrachin have? Does this mean to say? Is this coming to say that this takana is for the benefit of the big cities? The hatnan, but don't we learn in our Mishnah? Didn't we learn in our Mishnah that if Purim falls out on Monday, both the villages and the big cities read on that day? V'im ita liktimul yom haknisa. If it is, literally if it is, but if it is for the benefit of the krachin, if this takana is really for the benefit of the cities, then let them, meaning let the villages, move it to the Yom HaKnisa. Let them move it to the previous Yom HaKnisa. In other words, if you really want to say that the takana of allowing kfarim to read earlier is for the benefit of the cities, so that the kfarim will be totally free on Purim itself, so then they shouldn't ever read on the same day. The kfarim should be able to read the previous Yom HaKnisa, and then they would be totally free to give water and food to the krachim on Purim itself. Havuluha asara. Va'asara lo takina rabbanan. No, in that case, it's impossible. Havuluhu asara. It is for them the 10th. The asara lo takina rabbanan, and the 10th was not established by the rabbis. As you know from our Mishnah, the earliest date that you can read the Megillah is the 11th. The 10th is not an option. So if Purim, the 14th was on Monday, the previous Thursday would be the 10th, and you can't read on the 10th. In other words, this is the Gemara defending the idea that the takana is in fact for the benefit of the krachim. It's for the benefit of the cities, for them to read earlier. It's just in this case, we couldn't quite go all out and benefit the cities all the way because you can't move it you can't move it as early as to be on the 10th. Tashma, here's another attempted proof, another attempt to think about whether it's really true that this takana is for the benefit of the cities. Again from our Mishnah, if Purim falls out on Thursday, then the villages and the big cities all read on that day. V'im ita liktimu yom haknisa de'achadasarhu. Again, im ita, if it is, meaning if it is really the case that this takana is for the benefit of the cities, let them move it to the Yom HaKnisa, to the previous Yom HaKnisa, which is the 11th. In other words, in this situation where they're all reading together on Thursday the 14th, so if you really want the cities to benefit from the villagers' availability, let the villagers read the previous Yom HaKnisa, which is Monday the 11th. Miyom HaKnisa liyom HaKnisa lo dachinan. Gemara says, no, in that case also it wouldn't work because we don't, Miyom HaKnisa liyom HaKnisa lo dachinan, we don't move it from one Yom HaKnisa to the other. We don't move it earlier from one Yom HaKnisa to the other. Tashma, okay, here's another attempted proof to say really it's true that it's for the benefit of the krachim, and we always try to work it out that way. Amar Rabbi Yehuda, Ematai. Rabbi Yehuda says, when is this the case? B'makom shenichnasim b'sheni v'chamishi. In a place or in in a location where they in fact do go in on Monday and Thursday. But in a place where they don't go in on Monday and Thursday, ein korinota ela bismana. They can only read it in its proper time. And if you were to think, that this tachana is for the benefit of the cities, mishum de'en nichnasin b'sheni v'chamishi mifsidei lehu l'krachin, because they don't go in on Monday and Thursday, the cities should lose out. In other words, Rabbi Yehuda's statement is that this idea of makdimin liyom haknisa only applies if there is really a yom haknisa. If they do go in, if it's to the villagers' benefit to go in on Monday and Thursday. But if you really think that the second is for the benefit of the krachim, why should it apply only when they actually go in on Monday and Thursday? Why not make it a thing that they have to do? And your second question, by the way, is where have we seen this before? Amar Rabbi Yehuda imatai. This whole part we've seen before. So again, note what Daf and Amud we've seen it on and why it was brought in that case. Okay, so now the Gemara is going to respond to this. Lo tema. Kadesh yispaku mayim umazon ela ema mipnei shemisapkim mayim umazon la'achehem shebekrachim. Okay, so don't say, right? Lo tema, don't say, in order that they can provide water and food to the cities. Ela ema, rather say, because they provide water and food to their brothers in the cities. In other words, it's not that we want them to be available for the city dwellers to give them water and food. Rather, it's of benefit to the villagers. Mipnei, because this is what they do. This is their parnasah. This is what they do for a living. You can see this clearly in Rashi. Their parnasah is, what they do for a living is to sell water and food to the city dwellers. And if you tie them up too much on Purim, or if you tie them up too much on these market days, then they won't be able to make money off of this. So whenever possible, we want them to be free on Purim to sell water and food to the city dwellers, but it's for their benefit. The leniency is for their benefit, not for the benefit of the city dwellers, and there are times when we can't quite arrange it. There are times when they do read on the same day because there are certain parameters that you can't cross. And final question, try to make a structure chart of this section of the Gemara, and we will pick up with this on Monday.